Live, local. This is Fox 12 Now.
Hello everyone, this is Fox 12 Now. I'm Greg Dibler. As always, we appreciate you joining us wherever you are. Thanks for finding this show. We cover a wide range of topics here, and you can find all of our segments on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel at kptv.com, under the Fox 12 Now tab, or of course on the Fox 12 Oregon apps. And while we are live here from the Fox 12 Oregon newsroom, we do get to get out every now and then. That's something we've been doing over the last couple of weeks, visiting different locations and different winter festivals and festivities and things that you can go to here over the holidays, things you'll probably go to anyway outside of the holidays, but things that are doing specific stuff to help celebrate this time of year. And one of those is Pittock Mansion, and that is where we headed out to talk about their new theme for Home for the Holidays, where they have decorated with very period-appropriate decorations from the early 1900s, but also taking into account some different cultures. It's a really fun thing. If you've never been to Pittock Mansion, let me show you this before we go inside. So there's the outside view, obviously as sitting there on top of the West Hills, overlooking the city of Portland. It was built by one of the founders of the Oregonian, Henry Pittock. And at one point, before all the trees grew up, you could see 5 different mountains from there. But we went inside to get a better look at what it would have looked like back then. Well, Suzanne, thank you for having us up here to the Pittock Mansion. Obviously, you know, such a huge part of the city of Portland, and to that extent, you know, I was hoping you could give us just a little bit of overview of the history of this place and what it means here to this region.
Very briefly, the house was built by the founder and publisher of the Daily Oregonian, which is known as the longest running newspaper here in the Pacific Northwest. His name was Henry L. Pittock, and the house was planned and built between 1909 and 1914. And it's a beautiful French Renaissance Revival Chateauesque house. For
you personally, how did you become involved with this?
Well, I'm from Montana, and I'm always attracted to beautiful houses, and so this is one of the first places I went when I came to Portland, and I then got involved in guiding in 1974. And I am celebrating my 50th anniversary here this year as Pittock Mansion's longest tour guide.
Wow.
So yeah.
So this place has some pretty big meaning to you.
It means a lot to me. I'm serving on the board right now and also the Historic Preservation Committee, and then I do the architectural tours here.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those places, if you haven't been up here, it's a place you need to go if you come to Portland.
Right, and again and again.
Again and again, yes. And there's so much to see in here, but one of the things for this time of year is the celebration of the holidays. As we can see, a tree behind us, and there's so much going on in here. Can you walk us through how you went about decorating this, and maybe what the theme and the idea is behind it?
Thank you. Yes, so this is in a French salon style, and I've decorated this room 4 times now, and of course French always speaks to me. So I'm celebrating a classic French Christmas Eve, Le Réveillon de Noël. And so the concept is the family has moved from their festive big meal for Christmas Eve into the salon to sample the traditional bûche de Noël. And so I created a little bûche de Noël over here, faux, of course, all faux. And then this room is just speaking of what a typical French house might be decorated around Christmas Eve in the salon. And so there's under the Christmas tree the Santon. And then over by the hearth, the little child's shoes, waiting for Père Noël's visit. And there's a little note to Santa there that says, "Please do not forget my little shoes."
Which that's a tradition, right?
It is a French tradition. Yes, it's a French tradition. And then there's Advent candles on the mantle. And then I did an homage to all of the beautiful Paris flower shops. And so I love flowers, so everything is in flower design here.
And how long did this take you?
Well, it takes a bit of time for all of the decorators, yes. But we actually put the decorations up over a 2-day period. So it's very intense, and but there's a lot of work that goes into it. And I think we have about 75 to 80 designers and helpers that do this every year.
Yeah, so that's a lot of people.
And it's really beautiful this year, so I hope people will come up and experience it.
Yeah, and we still, though, get to be here and enjoy this and come up and check this out, and it's preserved.
It's a real legacy.
Yeah, well, Suzanne, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we're down at the Gate Lodge now, and I want to get a little bit of the history of that, but could you tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you started working here with Pittock?
I'm Marianne Ewing, and I'm with Beach Hill Studios. We're an interior design company, and we're based in Lebanon, Oregon. And so we were asked, we had asked if we could be involved. There's a team of us, 3 of us that worked on this project. So it's myself, Kennedy Volgestad, and Janet Greenblatt. And so we had a team, we love working together, and they said, would you like to do this? The Pittock, the Gate Lodge, and we came up, take a look, and said, sure.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
And we're seeing some of it here right behind us. So we're going to take a look at all of that. So when we're talking about the Gate Lodge, can you explain what this building is in relation to the mansion?
Well, this is where the Skane family, James Skane and his family, they originally, he and his wife from Scotland, and he's from Aberdeenshire. So he then took care of things, like I was saying earlier, that if the hot water went out, he went up and helped out to get that back up and running again for a shower.
Right, so they're down here at the Gate Lodge. You know, there's an old phone here, which I'm assuming is from the same period. So they would get a phone call, he'd go up and take care of that. So he'd take care of all these things around the estate, and this is where they lived. So he lived here with his family?
Yes, he had his wife and his daughter, Marjorie, and his wife's name was Marjorie, one spelled with a I-E and the other with a Y. And he
Interesting story there.
yeah, and he did all the gardening. I mean, all the landscaping. There were greenhouses. They grow the vegetables and everything here. It was quite something.
Wow.
We really went with the theme of their plaid, their tartan, and because over there is the tartan in his tie, and so we had it printed up and then had it made.
So this is what it could have been like, and something they would feel comfortable coming
was our
into.
goal.
Yeah, which is what you get to experience when you walk in here. It does feel obviously very period piece. You walk in, you feel like you're stepping back in time a little bit.
Yeah.
Coming into this, and this is all the decorations that we're going to be taking a look at here.
We feel like we could sit here. We would want to celebrate Christmas here.
Yeah.
And that's the response we get back from people. And we're all 3 professional interior designers, so we always have to have a client. So we had to know who the client was, what were their interests, and so we really tried to apply as much as we could without having met them.
Well, very cool. Thank you for showing us this. I know there's
Sure.
more rooms to see here as well, because we're going to go take a look at, I believe, more like the dining room area.
Right, yeah, that'd be great.
All right, let's go do it.
Okay.
Okay, we have made our way downstairs here at the Gate Lodge. And Janet, would you mind telling us just a little bit about yourself and how you're involved here with this?
My name is Janet Greenblatt. I have a interior design company here in Portland, Janet Greenblatt Interiors. And one of the interesting things about this project was the Gate Lodge had never been decorated for Christmas before. And we had never decorated before. So it was a first for all of us. And as you'll go through, you'll see there's also a kitchen and a child's room. But the dining room was special for us because the Skanes, as you know, were Scottish. And I tried to find out quite a bit about what Scotland was like at that time. And it turns out that one of my relatives grew up in Scotland, in Glasgow. And up until the 1960s, the Christmas was not allowed to be celebrated at all because of the government's religious beliefs.
Really?
Yeah.
They could not celebrate Christmas in Scotland
not
until
by law,
the 1960s.
Not by law. Yeah.
That's crazy. I had no idea about that.
Right, and so what they did was they celebrated anyway, but they bunched it into New Year's. And one of the things that you'll see in the room is there's a plaque up above here that was written by Robert Burns. And it turns out that this was the biggest thing in Scotland for the Scottish. They celebrated by singing his songs, they wrote his poems, they had celebrations. And the other big thing that they did was have haggis. Haggis was a very big thing for them for Christmas. So what we really wanted to do in this room was we wanted to celebrate what it might have been like. They were much more demure in terms of decoration. They probably wouldn't have been quite as fussy. But as the years went by and they lived here and they became more American, perhaps their decorations would have been a little bit more,
over the top.
Over the top, yes. So the theme behind all of this was just, a joyous Christmas dinner.
And that's what the idea is when you're walking in here. So again, this is the dining room, and so many, minute details too that go into this, of all
Right.
this stuff that you thought about. So I think that's fascinating. Even looking over here, we've got the Scottish,
The plaid.
The
skein
plaid, yeah.
is here. The skein plaid is also on
Yeah.
the dining room table, on the mantels. We tried to keep the theme pretty, even throughout the whole house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you go in here, when you're walking through, this is what maybe the Skeins, would have experienced, or an idea of what they would have.
Right.
Would have
And
gone through.
Marjorie, the wife, she was quite an interesting woman. She made it well known that she was not part of the help. And she loved to cook, which you'll see when you go into the kitchen. She had a lot of recipes and various things that she would do. And I think that she would have been pretty pleased about what the table looked like.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty amazing, I got to say.
Thank you.
So obviously, something amazing for people to come check out here. I mean, any time of year, but right now, especially just to get that idea of that time period, learn a little bit about history. They couldn't celebrate Christmas in Scotland. I'm going to be going down that rabbit hole afterward. But just to get this feeling here and to see all this hard work that you put into it, it's really, really cool. So
Thank you.
definitely would love people to come out and check this out.
All right, and again, thank you to everybody there at Pittock Mansion for having us out to take a look at all of that. Really fun. If you have never been there, it's pretty great just to see everything else within that entire building as well. So definitely recommend taking a trip up at this time of year. Just get that added bonus of seeing what it would look like for someone during those times. And don't forget, like I mentioned at the beginning, you can check out all of our segments on the Fox 12 Oregon YouTube channel at kptv.com or the Fox 12 Now tab, or as always on the Fox 12 Oregon apps. And don't forget, you can send us an email, fox12now, fox12now at kptv.com. If you have a suggestion for a segment, or maybe you've seen something on one of our other news shows and you'd like to get one of our reporters in here to do a deeper dive, you can do that by sending that email, and we'll see if we can get something set up for you. But that's it for right now. I'll talk to you soon. I'm Greg Nibbler. This is Fox 12 Now.